Yep. Today's job is putting the kingpins. This is a 1950 Chevrolet, ton and a half. This is a Railway Express agency truck, but it's the same as other ton and a half to 2 ton applications. This has the heavy duty, or they call it a double duty, I guess, in GM parlance, but it's the heavy duty kingpins. Are the same, ton and a half. I want to say from 46 to like 1960. So there's a pretty big interchange. The part number for these particular pins on the ton and a half heavy duty and 2 ton Chevrolets is 3691111. And I actually got 2 partial NOS sets in order to make 1 complete set. And then I do have another truck I'll be doing later. So I did some research, found out Moog 8343B is the same part number. So that's going on a 48 cab over that goes on later. But anyway, today we've got kingpins for this truck. I'm only going to do one side in the video. Each side takes, or the other side that I did took about 5 hours for me. A real mechanic could, I'm sure, do it much quicker, but I'm just a dub here. I've got a few old rigs, so I do enjoy working on cars, but I'm certainly not a professional. And I couldn't afford the hydraulic press, so I just have a large ball joint press that I got off Amazon for like 70 bucks. And with this large ball joint press and just some MAP gas and basic tools, I got the kingpins out. They were difficult. It did take me a while. You hear me huffing and puffing, but I got it. So without paying big money and without getting expensive tools. So, I mean, if I can do it, pretty much anybody can, right? All right, so today, what my plan is to try to demonstrate how to replace a kingpin, basically bushings and kingpin. This is the 50 Chevrolet Railway Express truck. I've actually already done the other side, which is kind of my learn it myself method. This one, these are the pins, the steering knuckle, and I don't know if you can hear it, but it's loose there. Plus you can see, and I don't know if I can demonstrate it. You see, you're not supposed to have any gap there. Now, when I bought this, I was told that it needed kingpins. And I'm kind of suspicious now, having the other side still has caps on, but the caps are missing off the top and off the bottom. There's supposed to be a little metal cap that goes over these, and the caps are missing. So I'm guessing that maybe somebody had tried to change this and failed. So we're going to see if I can get it. Now the other side, I've made some still photos and a few posts about how difficult it was. But I've got the tool and I got heat and everything else. So I'm going to try to do a demonstration, and hopefully it comes with all my knowledge. You never know. Sometimes they're just so stuck you'll never get them. But I'm going to, with all what I know now and my tools and heat and everything else, I'm going to give it a shot, see if I can get this thing out. So, all right, so step one, after, of course, I've already got all the backing plates off and everything else, all the brake parts, is, you see that, this little nut right here? This is actually a pin which locks in, and you can see it sticking out on this side right there. That little thing looks like a rivet head. That's actually a pin, and that locks the whole up and down pin in place. So the other side I had to drill out, and it was kind of miserable. So I don't know if there's any better way. I don't have any better technology as of right now to get it out, so I'm just going to give it a shot. All right, so this time what I did is I put the big C-clamp on this thing with the nuts on it, with a little brace on the bottom, and it actually came out. So this was much easier. I didn't have to drill. So I still have to get that nut off, which is now probably a little bit peened in place, but I think I can do that. But that pin, which I had to drill before, which took hours, with this handy tool, a lot quicker. All right, yeah, it took me a few minutes after I declared success, even though I had pushed it out quite a ways, the last bit, because you see it's kind of accordioned a little bit. But I got it out, little hammer, it's just regular hammer and a punch, so got her out. So now on to the next big thing, which is getting that pin out with my big tool. So we'll set up and try that. All right, so there we are. You see I've got the tool set up on here. I haven't put any heat or anything on here. I'm going to try it with the with the zip gun here, the impact. See how it comes, and then what I'll probably end up having to do is put a bunch of heat here, and I get the big 12-pound sledgehammer and kind of see what works. So here we go. Alright, that's everything the impact had. So last time what I ended up doing was hitting it with a hammer. So, and just to see if I can get it with the hammer without putting the heat on and without doing all that other stuff, I'm going to see what I can do by just whacking it up here. So we'll give that a shot. I'm actually not convinced it's going to work, but sure doesn't act like it's working. Probably no shortcuts allowed. She ain't doing nothing. Alright, so let's put the heat to it, and we'll also get my big ratchet. We'll start with the heat. Alright, I've put heat on it. Now let's try it again. I'm trying all different things, you know, because I'm no expert, so. That sure ain't doing anything. So let's go try what I did before is I put a huge ratchet on the thing with a breaker bar and then hit it with a hammer. So we'll see. I'm going to hit it one time. See, I can't get much hammer because I'm working underneath that fender. But that's what got it before, so I'm going to keep trying things. We'll see what we get. Alright, so now we've got our big extension. So this is a don't try this at home kids thing. I think that's what they always say. We'll see. I hope the tool doesn't break. That's what I was worried about before. I don't care if the extension breaks, as long as my big C-clamp doesn't break, because that's my secret to success here. Well, we'll see here. The problem is I don't dare to keep the flame on while I hit it because I'm so cockamamie. I don't want the fire to fall over it. What I need is also heat on this side at the same time. wonder if that's been changed before. That pin came out a lot easier than I thought that it should. I mean, it came out really hard, but I don't know. We'll see. Sounds like we're running out of gas. I actually got another bottle because I was worried about running out of gas, so I do have another bottle. Let's give it a whack and see what happens there. That sounds pretty solid. I don't think that's moving at all. That's the problem. I try to get a video where I can have it seen when I get it, but sometimes it takes hours to get it. You just can't really tell. When it's gonna come, so. When it came before, it jumped about a 1/4 inch. I'm a little bit shy about sticking my eye into there with all that heat. So I needed some burning grease on my eyeball. I've had that happen before. It's not very fun. Well, I moved it. Well, that makes me wonder if I didn't budget, because I couldn't move it. The first time it jumped about a 1/4 inch on the other side. Fat and old. All right, here we go. I don't know. How the hell can you tell? You'd think I'd have a better way to put that on so when I mushroom that bolt. Oh boy, that ain't gonna work. Alright. Sorry there, cinematography man. Maybe I need to lower this axle so I get a more swing. Take it off the jack, maybe. We'll try that. Well, I can't get any movement here, but I'm also supported by this axle. So if I support by the frame, maybe, and let this axle droop a little bit. Maybe. I don't know. We'll try. All right, so now the axle's a little bit lower. I don't know if that'll help or not. It takes an awful lot of power. I have the jack under the axle so that it doesn't bounce, but I also have the jack stand holding the frame, so. I don't know, this is pretty rugged. There we go. Okay. You see, the axle's bouncing, so I got to put more jack under the axle. Otherwise, we're not doing anything. We're just bouncing. I don't know if that's going to help or not. Oh, shit. Bounce, bounce, bounce. That's not helpful. Oh, boy. Maybe if I have the jack stand under the axle? You can see how I work. I just kind of work it out as I go. I don't really have a good plan. I don't know what I'm doing. There's no, I don't want to say there's no rhyme or reason, but I'm frequently just kind of going with it. Seat of my pants here because I'm starting to mushroom that up. That ain't good, but that's how I got the other one. So I'll have to get a file, I guess, and do some file work. Alright, so now what I remembered that I did is I have a short rod and a long rod. So the short rod will give me a bunch more room. I'm going to try that, but I've got to come up tight again and then throw some more heat on it. Just keep heating it. But that short rod might bump me out. I'm hoping. Okay, where are you, socket? I don't know. I need a bigger pipe, I think. That's a negative, Will Rogers. I ain't doing shit. Right. These things are a bear, for sure. Alright, well. Whew. Maybe. Hard telling. Certainly didn't jump like the other time. That's for sure. But I do see a gap in the top of the bushing. Boy, no, it ain't coming. Oh, Jesus. It's hot, but it ain't moving. Good Lord. There's gotta be an easier way. Well, there is an easy way. I'm just too cheap to do it. The easier way is to get this $3,000 hydraulic tool. Let's throw some heat on it for a minute. I've been putting heat on it. You can see that C is a little bit stretched. When it comes, it usually jumps about 1/4 inch. I mean, the pin looks like it's down a bit in the bore, but I haven't seen it jump that 1/4 inch, and it sure hasn't gotten any lighter, so I've really got to do something about the spring in the axle too. I put the jack under it thinking that that would help, but I've still got some spring, so I don't know. Really no good way to get on this thing. Still ain't got it. Alright. We've had the heat soaking on it for a little while. I'm going to try to reset my wrench. Now, that heat's just about empty. Yeah, it might have moved. Hang on. Let's see. Well, I bet it did move because something happened. Either something broke or it's moving because I couldn't move that breaker bar before. A little stiff, but I really need that 3/4 drive I ordered, but it hasn't arrived yet. 3/4 drive socket. Then I could put some big tools on it. This 1/2 inch drive ratchet, I'm waiting for the head to twist off in it. It's not very strong. I don't know. Can't tell. Oh, nope. Shit. Alright, so I think I might have just got it. We're about to find out. I've been beating on it. Finally just jumped. Usually when it jumps, that means you got it. That's a good sign. Let's see what happens if I can get him to go. I know she moved. can tell it's moving because it's getting looser as I go. You can see it sticking out the bottom. I'm hoping you can see it. But this is also my short rod, so I'm going to get the longer rod on here. But we got it. That was a job right there. It always is, I guess. Here's the longer rod. Boy, when she jumps. But since I started doing these videos this morning, it's probably been 2 or 3 hours. I stop the video now and again just because, just because it's like a little hot sitting there. Stop the video just because I would be filming for hours and hours and not getting any action. So I got to get my, remember that's mushroomed in, so. Either way, we got it on the run now, so that's another huge. I might even be able to tap it out, I don't know. I don't know if I need to run it out. I can just keep tapping it maybe. She'll give up here in a second, by golly. It's out. There. I don't know how to flip. So anyways, there it is. There's the pin. I'm beat. It's hot. I'm just going to get a drink. Alright, so yeah. We got it. It's a little bit hot right now, but the spindle should pop off of there. I'm not quite sure why it's so loose, but we can investigate that. See what everything is. But that's the hard part, getting that out. I got the rams and stuff. I can clean up the hole so it actually goes together a lot easier. So I'll try to put those on videos too, the cleaning and the bushings and all that. But these parts can cool down. I can cool down. I'm happy now. All right, so while we're here, one of the important pieces is you've got to ream the bushings. Now this is actually an original NOS reamer. And these, I'm going to show you how this reamer works and why it's so much better than just a regular reamer. These are Kingpin reamers, and they're guided because you have 2 bushings, and in order to get them aligned. So anyways, it's actually really interesting that I was able to find this. It's the exact one just for this truck, so an original piece. So I kind of got lucky. Excellent. All right, so now just to start, before I get anywhere with this is a Kingpin tool. It's very precisely machined for the exact same diameter as the pin. And one of the things we do is we've got the old hole, and we just make sure that the hole is cleaned up. So we just take it through and clean it up. It's really not that dirty, so just be a little bit of cleanup. If I had a proper wrench here. Oh, I do have a proper wrench. Hang on. Oh, right here. By proper wrench, I mean not vice grip. Okay, so, and what this does, this cleans up that hole. I'll also use it on the bushing. It's actually more important on the bushing side than it is on this side, but This helps clean up the hole. Just a reamer. I say just a reamer. It's just critical reamer. So yeah, it just has the teeth on the inside, and it cleans up your hole. So. Works very nicely. I can't tell, but anyways, cleans up the hole. All right, so here I've got the steering knuckle with the old bushings. You can see the old bushings in there, and the vise. So what this tool is, the reamer. It's also a reamer driver, and what it has, it's got the little tit on the end, and this little piece right here fits right in there for driving out the old and driving in the new bushings. So you don't really need to be careful driving out the old bushings per se, but it's nice to have a nice little tool for driving them out. So the new bushings you do have to be careful with, just because you don't want to bend them or score them up or anything like that, and that's where this tool is so much more important. But so now my next step will be to try to drive these out, the old ones out. All right, so here we are, and I've got the knuckle spindle. I got my tool, got the little driving thing here. Whoops, and I dropped it. Cut. All right, so I've got the knuckle in the vise. I've got the tool for driving out the bushings, and that goes something, but not exactly like that, and hopefully she should come out. Is it moving? Put mustard on it, I guess. She's coming slowly. Coming. Almost got it here. There it is. One old bushing out. So that's how that tool works. And having that in there, you see I didn't really damage that old bushing. So very nice. Now we can just go after the next one. Set right in there. Make sure she's coming. Kinda, sorta, maybe. Well, that side's being a little more stubborn. Gotta come, by golly. I say it's gotta come, but it sure ain't. Alright, let's try. If thing A doesn't work, let's try thing B. We got that in backwards is what happened. Yeah, she's coming. Guess if I didn't have such noodle arms, then you'd think I'd have a little bit cleaner situation too. Ooh, she's coming. Ooh, dry. There. Second bushing out. So anyways, that's how that tool works. Pretty old dry bushing, been in there for I don't know how long. They get replaced at some point. I'm pretty sure that's not the original kingpin bushing. The bearing is not original, so it certainly didn't match the other side, so I'm pretty sure this one got replaced but was ineptly done. Incorrectly shimmed. But anyhow, it'll be right when I'm done. While I'm at it, I figured I'll change my Zerk fittings. Those are pretty easy to change. So I've got, well, again, using vice grips, which is kind of a swear word in our world. So, but since it's just an old Zerk fitting and I'm throwing it away, when I put the new ones in, I'll use actual wrench. I think it takes 7/16 inch wrench. So these are 1/8 inch regular Zerk fittings. So just old and nasty. And there we go, one out. That one's already loose. They shouldn't be that tight anyways. I mean, but they shouldn't be floppy either. So, ooh, that one's all nasty. So anyways, those are out. Now I'm just going to clean her up. Clean out all the holes, etc., etc. And then we'll come back when we get the new bushings to go in. All right, new bushings. Now, one of the things with the new bushings, you'll see you've got a hole for the grease fitting there. You got to make sure you line that up. Once you start driving it, you're pretty committed, but they just get driven in, and I'll drive them up till they're flush with the inside of the knuckle. And I'll actually, what I'll do, just to help myself out, is I'll drive them from the inside rather than the outside. So, again, using my tool. The tool acts as an aligner as well, sort of. On the first one, it's not quite as much because you get all that room, but on the second one, you get nicely aligned. And then we'll, after we're done with that, we'll ream it. But first, before we get too rambunctious, make sure that our grease fitting is lined up there. All right. Getting close. Let's see, yep, the holes are lining up. That's good. A little bit more flush, maybe. We don't want them proud of the surface. We want them just down a whisker there. There we go. All right, so there's one in right there. See, I got it just a hair into the surface, so I can pop that out here. Luckily, I have lots of junk laying around. I can maybe get that out of there. All right, so now we got the first one in, and this ream tool, this outside diameter right here is very precisely machined to match what the pin is. Actually, it's a hair under, but so you can slide through, but it acts as a great guide. So when you're going to go put in this other bushing on the other side, it's tight, but it goes in. And then we'll clean up that bore with our ream. Here's our other new bushing. Again, making sure that we line up the grease fittings with a hole. Put the little press tool. I don't know if everybody else has those press tools or not, but super handy. All right, so, and there's probably somewhere a real professional would probably just hydraulically press it in there, but you know, I mean, the tool's made for this, so why not, right? So close. There. Right there. Let's drive out this other piece over here, maybe. See how much smaller that is. Well, I'll be, there we go, right here, Mr. There. Just got the tip of it in there, so double check that our holes line up, and they do. Everybody's looking good. And I actually overdrove that just a whisker. I'm gonna push it back just a hair. I mean, if I'm in here, the next fella comes along in 50 years or so, maybe wants to criticize my shoddy workmanship. There. Huh? I like them apples. There. So now, the next part is the reaming. All right, so the reaming of the holes, and the reason that having a kingpin ream as opposed to just a regular ream will do a fine job on making a single bore and line, but we need both of these because the pin goes through both, so they have to be basically a line honed. So with this little fella here, now before I get too rambunctious, I've got a new pin here. We'll just test fit them. I don't think it'll fit in because they're supposed to be reamed to size. So yeah, see, the new pin ain't gonna fit like this. So you'll be surprised how much of this brass will come out when we go to do it. There we go. And see, now we're in the second pin. That's acting as an alignment for us. And we just grind away on this and these teeth. You just put, it goes one direction, of course, but we grind away at it. Right there. Fairly simple. I mean, we're not taking off huge amounts, but and it is brass material, so you can hear it starting to bite in a little bit there. All right. Slowly getting through. Coming. See, the teeth are almost all the way in, and we're starting to, haven't got the teeth out the other side, but the flutes for the teeth are now exposed on the other side, so coming through. Part of the reason why it's nice to do this is I know I've got that other 48 Chevy cab over. I got to do the kingpins on. Probably should do the kingpins on the 56 Chevy, the 36 Dodge. That one's going to be a bear to get apart. That's another 1.5 tons, and it's even older, so who knows. But I'm hoping the 56 Chevy is a lightweight version of this. That 48 Chevy is going to be harder than these probably, because it's, you know, old New England truck's been sitting outside forever. Teeth are just about through the other side here. And there's nothing that sucks it in. It's just my hand pressure as I slowly go around. So that's all that there is to it. And I'm going to pluck you up for a second here. See if I can do this. I'm not a very good cameraman, but you can see I got all my brass sawdust there. My teeth are coming through. But that's all I'm doing is just turning this thing around, and I'm lined in that other hole. And once I get through this hole, I'll flip it around and go from the other way. Do the exact same thing on the other side. There. Side's pretty well done. There. Now we can add it from the other side. There. See, she almost wants to go by hand. I'm going to reset my tool in the vise here so that my shifting spanner doesn't hit the vise. Okay, okay. Oops. There we go. Oh, hit the table instead. So now I'm just doing the same thing from the other side. I don't know how everybody else probably has a garage that's crowded like this. You always see the mechanics, the real mechanics, not fake ones like me. I always have a nice clean garage. I actually had this garage cleaned, oh, what, 2, 3, 4 years ago. Spotless. Had it all organized, and it just kind of happens, you know. Stuff kind of piles up. This beside me is actually a bee's nest, something that we always wanted to do. So one of the floor ones. Like many projects, it's easier to buy this stuff than it is to put it out there and use it. But it's all dreams. So we'll get it. It'll be used. Just not sure when. Almost through with this fella. Not quite through. Getting close though. Although this is modern mechanics, always have fancy stuff. I'm guessing back in 1948 they were probably, or 1950 for in the case of this truck, probably done a little bit more like the way I do it. You know, just simple tool in the garage, taking less of time. I don't know. I expect that though. All right. There it is right there. Squeeze him out and test it out. Some of this is me doing this for the first time in a lot of cases, is I'm just learning. So there's reamed. Lots of brass sawdust everywhere. Now, in theory, pin should fit in there. Well, I'll be damned. Remember how I said I'm always learning stuff? It's so close. I think it just needs a hair more, though. I did do the other one already, so maybe I just need to run it in some. I mean, it's still stiff, so maybe it just needs to be run for a little bit. We'll open him up here. Let's see here. I don't think that the ream is tapered. I think that it's straight ream, you know. So once you get the teeth through, but I'll push it down a little bit further. I mean, you never can tell. I've also got 2 or 3 sets of kingpins, so there may be a difference between A and B, you know. I mean, these are old NOS or new old stock parts. Sometimes people mix in, they put in, oh, because the boxes have all been opened. Sometimes, you know, they do make these in like 10 oversized, so maybe I got an oversized pin. So if it still won't go in, I'll try the other pins and mix and match, or make the one that fits, you know. What do they call it? Fit it up. So, or it could just be my incompetence at the reaming. So we'll see, but we will get it. That, I promise you. Okay. Well, it's certainly a lot easier now. So let's run it back through. There. All right. Try again, and then we'll, if it's still having issues, what we'll do is we'll go grab, oh, look at that. She's a little bit snug, but it's going in. Yeah, she's a bit snug still, so I'm going to go grab the other pins and just to check and see. I mean, we're talking a few thou, but I can just run the ream in there a little bit longer, because every time I do it kind of wears it down. I don't know what the history of this ream is. It could be a little bit worn. I mean, the teeth do look like they got a little bit of wear on them. And the clearance on this is 1/1000th or less. So, you know, that's, we'll run it. We'll get her. But the pin is in, so I know it's at least going to go in. So we're not like miles off or anything like that. So. And the second time we ran the ream, of course, we got it quite a lot closer too. And that's just about ready to fit in. So we'll just kind of fit it. I'm going to go grab the other pins. I'll continue to run this ream and we get them. And then we'll get them. I'll show you how they're supposed to fit in. All right. So we did the reaming. I did a little bit of honing on this one. I think my ream's getting a little bit of wear on the teeth, but now I've got the pin where it slides through. There's a little bit of drag, but you know, I can push it through easily with my fingers. So that's how we want it. So we're pretty much ready to reinstall this on the truck. So got the pin nicely done. So reaming, a little bit of honing. The difference between reaming and honing is reaming, you have the teeth on the thing here that reams, and then the hone is more of a like a brake cylinder hone. So this hone only takes the tiniest amount off, whereas the ream is like digging in. So, but the teeth on the ream, I've noticed, because the pins were a little bit dragging and they weren't before, but it looks like just the slightest amount of wear on the teeth. You know, it is 60, 70 years old, so it didn't dig. Now that when I did the other side and it went perfectly, so whatever the difference is, I've got it now. I did a little bit more handwork than I did on the other one. So it's Kingpin ready to go back in. And here's an aside here. I don't know if you can see this. This is a ball bearing, and it's used on my tool. And you'll notice I actually crushed a ball bearing. I didn't think that was possible, but that's the amount of force I had on there. It squashed it. So squash ball bearing indicates just how much force I was putting on that Kingpin to get it out. So just an interesting side note. All right, so it's time to reassemble. And I've got the thrust bearing here. The other side had a ball bearing. This one's actually a like a Diva type material, or like a bronze, oil impregnated. I've greased it all up. Now you're supposed to have some drag on this when you put it together. This thing was completely loose when I got it apart. So I'm not sure what happened, but it's got some drag on it right now, and I don't know if I could fit any more shim in there. I mean, it's pretty stiff. I can get it to line up, but without any pin at all in there, she's pretty stiff. So yeah, well, that's probably all I'm doing. I noticed that the old one, this that's the bearing, and it was a lot skinnier. So it was either very, very worn or installed incorrectly or something. So anyways, I got it in there. It's pretty stiff. I don't know if I could shove another shim in there or not. There is some wear on these parts here, which are not supposed to be wear surfaces, but you know, with the amount of looseness that was in the bearing before. So anyways, I think I'm just going to put it together like this, because, and so the trick is I've got this pin, and there's a slot. This pin has that little slot right there, and it has to line up perfectly. And once you start, I guess you can drive it back, but it's not very easy to undo whatever it is that you're doing. So try to get him lined up and then just drive it straight down if I can, stopping at the exact right location. So, well, I guess let's just get bold, huh? So I'm nearly there. So now I will peek through and I can see the slots just coming into view. So I've got, well, what have I got here? Another pin, I guess. I can just, the last little bit, tap it and check here. So close. Almost. Just a hair. I'm probably going to just a hair it 2 or 3 times, but the pin is a little bit crooked. I'm hoping that it's not so crooked that I can't straighten it out. Yeah, that helped. All right, so now I've got the new pin. It's supposed to go in there. It's supposed to go in from the other side, driving it in. Again, we're going to line up tab A and slot B here. And see, now we're back. And there's a little clip floating around here somewhere that goes on there, right here. Here's the old lock washer. We don't need that, but it's got a little pin on it. It looks different than the other side, so I don't know. Somebody's done some work on it at some point in time, and that pin is kind of the last word on locking this dude in here. So I'll tighten that nut down with the, see, ratchet's never in the right direction. There we go. Of course it wouldn't be, would it? Because I was using it for disassembly. All right. That's the pin. Now I can tighten that. There, so get a little bit more out of it. I think that's all she wants right there. We'll just tighten her down. Now she's got, for a brand new kingpin, I'd say we're doing pretty good. We can put some more grease on. I finger greased it, but we'll put a little bit more until it squirts out. Then I've got to put the caps on. Remember, we got the caps on the top and the bottom, so that's what we've got. So anyways, the kingpin is substantially in. So it's most of the work is just getting that old pin out, and it was nasty. So hopefully this guy holds up. I mean, this truck will not be a frontline truck like it was back in the day, so I'm hoping this is the last time this job's ever done. So anyhow, there it is. And the final part is aside from the reassembly of the front end, but we've got these little caps to go on. Now, if I was doing this, I guess I am doing this, but if I was the one doing the designing, what I would do is they make some concave freeze plugs. And then you also, when you put those in, you use those on an engine block, you can set them in there, and then you drive in the center and it flattens out the concave and it tightens down. These here, they just set in there and you just peen them in like 3-4 spots. So I don't know, I mean, it worked for 70 years, but anyways, doing this one-handed isn't easy. But basically you push that in there and then you peen in 3 or 4 spots around there, and that's pretty much it. There, with 2 hands, I drove it down in there. So it's in there. It actually went in a little bit stiff. So that's good that it's not going to just fall out. Remember, they were missing completely. So either the last fella didn't put them in, or put them in loose and they fell out, or they were disassembling. This side was terrible, like super loose. So I'm not sure, but I almost think somebody was messing around with this one. It didn't have the original style knuckle bearing. So somebody at some point over the last ever how many years kind of ham-fisted it, more ham-fisted than I do. So I mean, I do half-ass work, but usually when it's done, it's correct. It's just the methods that I use are a little bit unorthodox, but stuff shouldn't fall apart. So in that, I can stay a little bit superior, I guess, maybe. All right, so kingpin's in. So both sides are done now. So I just have to put together the brakes. I actually have the hubs at the machine shop getting ground down so I can fit my wheels on. Just having the center hub machined down to 4.75. See this side, I've already got all the brake backing plate and everything back in, waiting for my hubs to come back. But most of you guys know what truck this is. This is a Railway Express Agency truck. So anyway, this is it. And kingpin job's pretty well done. So now just putting hubs back together. And then I guess I'll have brakes and whatnot to do in the back. But get rid of my front axle work. So happy to be done.